We're talking today about two topics with former Judge Coralie Chun-Matayoshi.
Yeah, she hosts the podcast What's the Law on KH12.com, and we spoke with her about elections and mediation. It's What's the Law, and your host, Coralie Matayoshi. I just love having you on the show, and I'm so thankful because we have a really important topic to talk about today. It's elections. Oh, right. My goodness. And and of course, you can find What's the Law on KH12.com, but the upcoming election will be the first all mail-in ballot election, just in time to avoid the crowded polls in the middle of this pandemic.
Right.
What prompted the change, do you think, besides the pandemic, or maybe it was?
Well, actually, we're just in luck. Lucky us. We don't have to go to hundreds of polling places. This is the first all-mail ballot election, and we're one of 5 states. But the trend was happening anyway, because about 60% of Hawaii voters voted by absentee ballots anyway. And so they're hoping that this will increase voter turnout, which is really miserable. I mean, Hawaii's like the worst in the whole nation as far as voter turnout, and also might save about $750,000 according to Scott Nago, the chief elections officer. So it's a good move, and it's just coincidental that with the pandemic we don't have to go to the polling places.
So I have a couple of questions for you that regard the actual voting. Voters have to sign the return envelope with their ballot to verify the voter's identity. What if the signature on the envelope doesn't match the signature on file?
So then the election office will give you a call or contact you in some way and give you 5 business days to rectify that. So the trick is, don't wait till last minute, because if they get their ballot that day of the election, it's not going to count. I mean, it's going to delay the election results because they're going to have to give you 5 business days to rectify it.
Okay, I got another one. In the last election, there was a really close race in the East with Trevor Ozawa and Tommy Waters.
Correct.
What happened as a result of this? Because those two guys, it was a tight race.
Right. It was only 22 votes that Trevor Ozawa was supposed to have won. But Tommy Waters appealed it to the Supreme Court. And at that time, that was the only way to contest an election. You had to appeal to the Supreme Court. And it takes a while, right? So what happened was there was about 350 ballots that were placed in a post office facility that shouldn't have been counted because they got transferred after the 7 o'clock polling, when the polling places closed at 7. And so they invalidated those ballots, and because they couldn't tell which was which, valid or invalid, they had to invalidate that race, and they had to do a runoff. And that was a while. It was a couple of months where that seat was empty because of that.
Okay, you said ballot, so I have another question for you on that one. When will voters actually receive their ballots in the mail?
So they're supposed to receive it next Tuesday, the 21st of July. And this podcast with Scott Nago is coming out the day before, on Monday. But as a result of that tight race, the legislature enacted a law that requires a mandatory recount automatically if the race is really close, like within 100 votes or a certain percentage of the votes cast. So now you don't have to appeal to the Supreme Court. They just do it automatically, and then it's quick.
All right, you brought up podcasts, and in fact, on the website, you talk about mediation. I want to ask you about mediation. You have several podcasts on it. What is mediation?
So mediation is a great way to resolve disputes between parties, and it's with the help of a neutral third party trained mediator who kind of gets through all of the emotions and listens and tries to see where the parties might have an intersection of interest. And then, sometimes they'll do separate things with each of the parties, and then they'll bring them together when they think that they might be able to decide. And it works because sometimes these parties, they just don't even want to talk to each other, and so the mediator helps bring them together, and at the end of the day, if it's successful, they come out with a mediation agreement. And when I was a judge, I used to send all my parties to mediation right before it was a quickie thing at the courthouse, because I'd explain to them that if I have to make the decision and they have to go to trial, one person's going to win, one person's going to lose, and they might not like the decision. So they may as well try to come together, and it's their decision. It's not the mediator or the judge that decides what happens. It's them. And so that if they can come to an agreement, especially if it's like a landlord-tenant situation where you want the relationship to continue, that's the best of all worlds. So mediation, the whole month of July is going to be mediation.
That would be the happiest ending. I know it doesn't always work out that way, but thank you so much for being with us. And the podcasts are available on KHON2.com. It's What's the Law? And there are a ton of different topics that are there. But of course, Coralie said that this month is mediation. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being with us on Living 808 again, and have a great month.
Thank you. You too, John. Bye-bye.
Great talking to her and learning a little bit too. You can actually learn a few things by listening to her podcast.
You absolutely can. And mediation, it is such a key issue because, you know, when you hit that place where no one is going to budge to, it does take that and trying to figure out that middle ground of compromise and these former judges and so forth who can act as that neutral third party.
Yeah, because it's not easy. Sometimes I wouldn't want that job.
No, you're right.
You just go crazy.
Maybe they can do it as easily, like, as you say, like the Judge Judy or any of the other judges on there. Wouldn't that be nice if they could just decide in 30 minutes?
That would be fun to watch.
There's probably a few of those judge shows on our channels, right?
Yeah, we sure do. On one of them. We've got 3, so why not watch one of them? But yeah, no, it's a great podcast. It's always nice to catch up with her, and we'll do that again in the near future.
What's the law? And it'll be interesting to follow up on the election, so we'll keep you in tune with that as we start getting the ballots in the mail. All right.